Real quick, this is my first JJK manga cover, so don't spread any hate. Also, this is my first video, so don't judge it. I'm only doing this video because Noah's account is banned, and so I hope he do enjoys this video. Not gonna lie, so I hope I cook as well because I don't know how to fucking edit. So let's do it. So we start off the chapter with Mei Mei going to a candy store and she's asking the old man how much. Now this is important for later, so I'm just gonna skip this part because it's just one panel out of this yappinator of the chapter. Satamaki arguing with Yuta, and she says it's not okay just because you're back in your original body, which honestly is a W for Yuta fans, but not a W for me because I was wilded out when Yuta fainted, and when I started my Twitter channel, you can scroll down and see I was hating on Yuta, so I formally apologize. Anyways, and then Megami, Yuji, and Nobara comes into the room, and then Megami says, my head is kind of spacey. Is that because of a limited void? And he says he wants to apologize for anyone. And Maki says, do it later. But I wanna skip that because I don't know how Megami tanked Unlimited Void 5 times. And Yuji says, are you really okay? And honestly, I think Noah as well is gonna crash out because of this. And I think he's gonna crash out when he makes this video too. If his channel is gonna come back, no offense. And Itadori wants to apologize too, but then Kusakabe pipes up and says it's Gojo's fault for not killing Itadori way back then, and Itadori is a victim of Kid Jaku's terrorism. And then Kusakabe said he was in favor of Itadori's execution, and he's only here because of Yaga. And he said he won't say that he was wrong or I told you so either. He said each person's truth brought us to this outcome. So he said you guys don't need to feel guilty. Just be kids and old guys hang their heads. He is speaking facts here because they're just like 16-year-olds or something. They shouldn't be apologizing for like a 1,000-year-old curse. Then Yuji asks, how did he return to his old body? And then Yuta says he owes it to Rika. When she didn't follow Yuta into Gojo Sensei's body, he thought he lost his connection with her, but Rika was using reverse curse technique to repair and sustain his body, which Shoko had worked on. And when Kenjaku's technique was burnt out due to domain, he thought he was dead, but then Mei said there was a minor miscalculation. Yeah, you would know about minors, wouldn't you? And she said Kenjaku was still active after opening the domain. And Kusakabe said, I suppose it was possible to somehow divide the multiple curse techniques to continue functioning, probably through barrier techniques. He said a Malarian and fresh copy won't equally be precise. And then Panda says, after recovery of the curse technique, Yuta, sorry, I thought that was Panda. And he said, after recovery of the curse technique, I was near death and Rika had an external curse technique. When she reconnected, I survived. Sorry for making everyone worry. And then Maki said, who cares about that? And she said, the issue is that if you had acted properly, we could have won more easily. And then she goes on about first to consider the surprise attack on Kenjaku, and Maki says she should have done that. And then the plan involving Higuruma's sword, combined with Inumaki's curse speech technique, we would have won easily. We should have had, and they said they should have had Higuruma carry a recording. And then Inumaki, I think, explains it isn't possible to activate multiple instances of curse speech simultaneously. Playing curse speech from a recording, blah 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 blah. We're not yapping for long, bro. I cannot read this shit. I'm so fucking dyslexic. And then Toto pipes up saying, but he says his boogie woogie can't target Maki, and he says even Yuta pulling off the surprise attack without his assistance was risky. And he said besides, Rika's strength was necessary for stopping curse spirit manipulation from raging out of control, which is honestly that's fair. And then Panda pipes up saying Inumaki's technique had reduced recall because of the timing. And he said if we used it when Sukuna was in better condition, the kickback would have been fatal. And, that's fair enough. That's fair enough. And then Higuruma pipes up. He's alive somehow. After a few chapters ago, he's alive and kicking, and that's why I got there because I liked him. I liked him. And he said Sukuna wasn't playing. Sukuna was playing around. He could have killed me at any time. If Yuta had been around, he would have killed me instantly. But he wasn't there until he was. And then he said, besides, curse speech is easy to counter. And he said, he's the one who decided we should use in Yuta's domain barrier without any external opponents. After all, harmful acts are impossible inside his domain. And then Kusakabe says, nonetheless, it's amazing that someone who became a sorcerer 2 months ago survived. And then Higuruma says, you might say that's unfortunate. And then Yuji's surprised. Yuji's reaction is my reaction, because I did not expect Higuruma to be alive. And then Maki's still angry, because guess who piped up? Miguel, and I can't remember his name. I actually can't remember his name. And she says, if they'd been there at the start, things would have been different. Everyone says, yes, that's right, except Yuta, because, he's a fucking dick rider. Miguel. So, that's probably why. And then Yuta said they wouldn't come, and he said that they might. And then Maki said, but they came, and then Yuji just calmed them down and said, easy. And then Yuji says, thanks to Yuta's curse tool, I was able to hide his fingers. And she said, wouldn't have gloves worked? Go to a hardware store. No. These look sick. What are you doing, Maki? And then Yuji said thanks to Yuta, they prevented Sukuna's second domain. And then Maki said she's saying that it could have worked out before that. And then Hikari pipes up, saying that good thing that waiting inside Rika was possible. He said we were able to follow up an attack immediately after Gojo, and that drew Urame from Sukuna early, and that's thanks to Okotsu. And then there's a picture of Urame, above buildings in Shinjuku, just protecting them. And then Todo says he's responsible too, because he prepared with Mei for Sukuna's domain, but he couldn't get a hold of Choso and Itadori. And then Kiara pipes. Kiara? I'm pretty sure her name's Kiara, right? And then she says, a problem with the curse technique arena. And then Todo says, no. The problem was less distance than Sukuna's cursed energy. In the center of that domain, Sukuna's cursed energy was too strong, and so he failed to lock onto the cursed energy. And then Ino pipes up and says, he was there, but Wee got me out fast, so he's to blame too. And he said he should have been able to shave Choso. And then Itadori says, but then I would have died, so it's no one's fault. And then Maki says, I'm not trying to blame Yuta either. After all, Black Flash hit me twice. But this guy, you can't tell me they're a couple. You cannot tell me they're a couple, because, Maki actually cares for Yuta and shit. Even Inumaki and Panda caught on to this. And then Miwa, finally, after appearing once last chapter, finally makes her monthly appearance. She said she was scared stiff. She was on standby as Maki's marker for domain countering, and she said, what if Todo's curse technique had only saved her? And then Kusakabe says, you were the one who said you wouldn't join combat. And then Miwa says, I didn't. And anyways, you'd have rejected. And then Broom Girl, I cannot remember her name because she does not deserve me to remember her name. No one deserves to remember her name. And then she said, sorry, I didn't do much. And then Mei says, well, your broom was a comfy ride. Okay. Is she younger? Or smaller? You like younger or smaller children, don't you? Yeah. And then Hikari says he wanted to take on Sukuna after finishing Arame, and Arame was tough. He could have bagged her. He could have. I'm not saying. And then Nobara says, she was asleep for a long time, so she can't say much. And then Wee Wee pipes up saying, we may have our own regrets, but surely everyone agrees I was the MVP. And the sad part is, he's not even lying, because he was retrieving bodies out there. Like, I'm not lying, he was retrieving bodies. And then Kiara said, you panicked and left me. And then Wee Wee says she was just heavy, and then Hikari just lifts her up. And then Kusakabe, I think, says that made things easier for your sister. And then Wee Wee says, my sister did hard work regarding the new shadow style, yet again stealing the good parts. And then Mei says, guilty as charged. After all, I can't exchange my life for money. And you can't bet what you can't exchange for money. And then Hikari says, new shadow style. Can't only certain people use that? And then Kusakabe says, yes, that's right. A binding vow restricts it to one family. An inventor... I cannot read that. Someone read it, because I can't. And then he said it made it prevent from leaking into cursed users. And then Mei says, but generations changed and new shadow style lost its public benefit and simple domain became a trade secret. And then Yuji and Nobara have no idea what he's talking about, even though Yuji hit a fucking simple domain. Like, bro, why are you confused? And then I think Mei says, in other words, the clan keeps a monopoly on it, invites disciples, I think that's, and unreasonably enforces the binding vow. And then new shadow style is of great worth to sorcerers who have never used curse techniques. And then Todo learned it from Yuki, who acquired it Mekamaru. So Yuki really learned it from Mekamaru, so Mekamaru is the goat here. And then this panel, before we get on to this, like, Yabaneta, the panel, Gojo fans decided to go tweak over this page, because if you read the clock, it is 2:23, and the exact chapter that Gojo was unsealed was 2:23, and that led Gojo fans to believe that Gojo's coming back now in the next chapter, or like in the next chapters, because like there's 2 chapters now from on. And like, bro, you are so that this is more delusional than Cardi dropping an album, and that's saying something. That is coming from a long-term Cardi fan. Like, it's actually. Oh, okay. Let's get back on track. And then I think it doesn't say who it is, so it's kind of hard. But someone says, "What's unreasonable about a binding vow forbidding the teaching of new shadow style but anyone but disciples?" And then someone says, "That's only part of it. You can refuse summons to action from the head, among other complications. What's particularly tricky is lifespan, because this is closer to a spell without limit than a binding vow or a curse technique. New shadow style's head absorbs the lifespan of disciples, supposedly." And then Nobara says, "Gah, lifespan?" And then Megami's like, "Supposedly?" Like, he's Sherlock Holmes. Like, bro, you're not him. You were a bum all those chapters ago. You're not Sherlock Holmes. And then someone says, no one knows who New Shadow Style's head is. So while the contract of concerning lifespan is in effect, no one knows how it's fulfilled. Some disciples are old men and old women. If the head dies, the senior disciple will become the next one. But as long as the new head doesn't reveal their identity, as no one will know who it is. And only the leader can undo the various binding vows. And then Kusakabe says, as far as there aren't any senior disciples who have information on the head. And then Mimi says, maybe you mean there weren't any. And Namaru is suspicious of this, and you'll see why later on. And then Kusakabe says, I'm the current head of New Shadow Style. And me was shocked, and I'm shocked too, but this is a Kusakabe W, because he kind of deserves it, because he's the Shadow Style merchant right now, because you know his fight against Sukuna. And then he said, so the simple domain binding vow and lifespan spell are no longer a problem. And then Wee Wee says, but you gotta leave some perks for new disciples. And then Mei says, in time, Wee Wee will become the leader and break the monthly freeze from the disciples. He just says, what? And then Wee Wee says, you're so greedy, big sis. Teehee, even Jujitsu could be a subscription service. Man, if you don't get your lame ass out of it. And then Mei comes in and says, and then we go back to the first panel of the chapter. Why I said let's just move on. I am sick and tired of yapping. And then the old man says, how much? And then Mei said, I'm talking about your life. And then the old man says, how did you find me? And how did you know I'm the leader? And then Mei said, teehee, I heard from someone I know. And I think it's Tengen. But no one should know that. You intended... the old man says, but no one should know that. And then Mei said, you intended to increase the number of disciples to stand alongside the big three families, and then control Jujutsu headquarters and Sasorisu world, didn't you? And then he realizes the snitch is Tengen. And that reveals that Tengen is actually alive and not absorbed by someone. So there's no JJK Shippuden unless Gege scraps this idea. There won't be any JJK Shippuden, which is the sad part. And then Mei said it would take a long time, but absorbing lifespan from disciples must have been a means for living someday to see something. And then she says you can't exchange such ambition for money. Anyway, what's more important than money is, she says, you can't be protected without money. And then she says, if there wasn't an exclusive control of simple domain, some sorcerers wouldn't have to die. And now, the Zenin clan has fallen to ruin, so the Kamo and Gojo clans will both fall in the final battle. You were trying to make my little brother defective, so this was bound to happen. And then we see blood leaking down somewhere from the candy shop, and it says to be continued. Yo, I am so confused right now. We are gonna get this confirmed on Thursday. It's Thursday when it comes out. I'm pretty sure it's Wednesday in America. But as far as chapters go, this one is filled with yap. Literally, I took so much tries doing this. So I hope you enjoy this. For the next video, I hope someone takes over, because then I don't have to fucking yap all my life. But I hope you enjoy this video, and I hope everyone else in the JJK community enjoys this video, because I don't see anyone making a new video about this. So thank you, have a good day, and goodbye.